we're back with hopefully the race start. Formation lap is now off, so maybe the safety car won't come out. um, 15 seconds till I started. Here we go then. And we do have lights out this time. KP does seem to get a better start on the inside, but in the second go into the S section for the first time. Pinkface has dropped to 6th place. Dylan is up to 97. So we can see whether they can get out of the DRS of the car behind and have a chill race, or whether P16 goes back down to P17 where he started. KP is within 6/10 of Koru as they start the second lap out of 10. Ference is just a second behind, and then got T. Crombie and Keanu hot on his hail. Ghost is now down to 19th and fighting both Nightmare and Ollie De Boy into the first corner. Nightmare Ghost is going to send it down the inside. Ghost goes for the switchback and gets both of them done in one move. Nightmare Ghost is now going side by side with Ollie De Boy, and he has got he leads by about 4/10 to his teammate. And when DRS gets turned on, this could be very interesting between the front two. Ferrant has dropped outside the DRS, not surprisingly, of the Red Bulls, but Pinkface has actually overtaken Keanu and got back up into P5. Both the Alfa Romeos picking up places on this race start. It's going to be side by side between T. Crombie and the Ferrari of Pinkface. Can Pinkface get around the outside? He can, and that's a beautiful move, but T. Crombie's now going to send it back up the inside, and everyone is ghosting everywhere. I think they're still side by side, so still side by side from where he started in this race. He now needs to catch up to the Aston Martin of Ference if he wants to regain that podium place back. But about 8/10 now between Koru and KP, but DRS will be activated on this lap, so if he can stay within that 1 second mark, he will get about 13 kph extra power down the straights. Ghost is now still fighting these two, so it's a great little scrap between them, and Nightmare Ghost has been sent spinning round, and he is going to drop a couple of seconds behind these two. Ollie De Boy is now about a second behind Ghost, so they are having their own little scrap of their own. Dylan has now got past the Alfa to the left-hand hairpin. Can Fadesy keep this place on the Ferrari? He can for the moment. So these two are actually going side by side. So Pinkface is already on the attack on Ference. No moves have been made yet, but you never know. Down this straight there could be a move being made by Pinkface. Pinkface though has picked up a 3-second time penalty along with Goncalo Silva, so they both pick it up on lap 4, and that's very early in this sprint race, so they're going to have to watch it as Ghost now picks up a 3-second time penalty. Ference is holding this P3 for the moment, but how long will he be holding it for? Well, range, poor connection quality, fuck's sake. Apparently it's only broadcasting mic audio. So Keanu is now going to put the pressure on Pinkface going down the straight. Pinkface is going to be looking for a move down the inside into the next braking zone. He pulls out to the left-hand side. He's going to go down the inside. There's almost a bit of contact between the two of them. There's 3 wide into the left-hander. Can Keanu get 2 moves done here? He gets Ference, but Pinkface pulls through up into P3. Ference is now going side by side with Keanu. around the right-hander and into the left-hander. Keanu is going to have that inside line, but Ferrance is going to have to yield 2 places in the space of about 3 corners. So not what he would have wanted, but P5 is still a great place for that Aston Martin at the moment. Keanu is now going to be piling on the pressure down the straight on Pinkface for that last podium place and a P3 start in this main race. But out in front, KP has dropped about 1.3 seconds to his teammate. But remember, this is the race where KP can find himself a 2-time world champion. He just needs to outscore Keanu by 6 points, and him in 18th. At the moment, if it stays like this, him P2, Keanu P4, I believe he'll become world champion. But we'll have to wait and see how the race pans out from here. There's still a long way to go. We still have these 5 laps, and then I believe it's 29 or something like that in the main race. So yeah, we'll have to see. T. Crombie is only 4 tenths behind Ferrance and is going to be looking for a move down the inside into the left-hander. He opens up that DRS and is going to pull out to the left-hand side and get the move done into the left-hander and puts himself up into P4. Ferrance now down to P5. Goncalo Silva is now just outside DRS range, and Reese and Kiernan T are going side by side. Reese has got the move done, but the 2 Alpha Tauris, I believe, are fighting behind them, so everyone is scrapping into the hairpin of that DRS ring. But Keanu, I believe, has spun it somewhere. I didn't realise Keanu is now down in P10, 11, sorry, and is fighting both Alpha Tauris, so what looked like fighting for a world title is almost looked like the Alpha Tauri spun it there. He's going side by side with CCR Hungary into the next left-hander, and as they start lap 6 of this 10-lap race, Keanu finds himself down in P11. Can he get the move done though on the inside of the first corner? He's going to go for it down the inside of CCR Hungary, and he is going to get that move done. A little bit of contact between the two of them, but the man second in the championship has got himself now up into what would be points in the main race, but in the sprint race there's no points for P10. So at the moment he doesn't score anything, which will almost give the might even, if he scores nothing here, and then KP only needs, I'm not sure, I'm not very good at math. But Nightmare Ghost has now retired from the session, and there's a big old scrap at the back between F1 Lewis and Ollie De Boy. Ollie De Boy has flung it around the outside and got that move done before the hairpin. To be fair, F1 Lewis doesn't actually have a front wing, but that doesn't matter, because that is GOAT things from the GOAT himself. Keanu now up into P9. Reese Thomas has actually got past Kiernan for P6. Goncalo Silva has made a mistake, and he's dropped down to P12. So I wonder what's happened between him. He's now going side by side with Mink. Mink has got the place and is up to P11. Goncalo Silva has actually spun it again, so he is going to be down to at least P14, maybe even 15 if Ghost can catch him up quick enough. But at the sharp end, Pinkface, even though he has got that 3-second time penalty, is up in P3 at the moment and holding his advantage ahead of T. Crombie and T. Ferrance. But if it does stay like this, they will overtake him due to the penalty. So he does need to build that gap up a bit more. Pam, Polly and Dylan are... And again, with broadcasting mic only. Reese Thomas now goes for the switchback on the Alfa Romeo and gets himself up into P6. Kiernan, though, is going to fight it out the inside, but nothing going for him at the moment. So he drops to P7. Reese Thomas up to P6. Keanu is now in 8th and looking to get past both of these guys, who at the moment he'll score 1 point in this sprint race. So he needs more. If this stays the same for KP, how many points do you score? 7 for second? I'm not sure. I think 7 points for KP. So, and 1 point for Keanu. So, if it stays like this and no points are scored for either of them in the main race, then KP will crown himself world champion. It is looking likely at this moment in time. But remember, we have a long race ahead of us, so anything can happen. Kiernan is now just about to get the DRS of Rhys Thomas ahead, and Keanu will pick up the DRS of both of them. So as we go through the hairpin now, Kiernan is going to open up that rear wing and get an extra 13 kph for him. Rhys Thomas defends that inside, but Kiernan's going to try fly it all the way around the outside of the next hairpin. And as we go through, Rhys Thomas's tyres must be crying out by now. 8 laps on the soft tyre. Keanu has actually dived around the outside of Kiernan, and he's now going to go for the move on Rhys Thomas as well, and gets himself up into P6. Rhys Thomas fights it up the inside, but nothing going for him. Keanu up into P6, Rhys Thomas P7, Kiernan P8. And at the back, you have Pam Polly, who's made fuck all progress, even though there's 3 DNFs. He's still only in P16. But yeah, Koru seems to be loving life at the sharp end. KP won't mind it though, because he only needs to outscore him by 2 points in the main race. If this carries on, I believe someone's going to have to do the math for that. Apparently I have poor connection quality. Brilliant. But Ference and Pinkface are now scrapping out. I think Pinkface has been overtaken, and he's either had a spin or something, because he's been overtaken by T. Crombie and Ference now. So he will pick up the DRS and will be a lot faster than the Aston Martin down the straight. Whether he can get the move done is a different matter, and at this moment it doesn't look like he's going to be even close enough to send it down the inside. So P5 for him at the moment, and I think it will be a maximum of P5 due to that 3-second time penalty. But saying that, I think Ted has also got a 3-second time penalty. Yes, so Pinkface has got 6 seconds, Ted has 3, so that'll put Ference up to P3 on the grid, and T. Crombie down to P4. But yeah, we still have 1 lap remaining in this sprint race, so anything can happen in that kind of time, as we find out many times before. Kiernan is still trying to get past Rhys Thomas, who's lost a lot of time to Keanu on this lap. But KP has closed that advantage quite massively. The gap 1.2 now as we enter the final lap of this sprint race. Koru still leads us from his teammate, and then comes T. Crombie, Ference, Pinkface, Keanu, Rhys Thomas, Kiernan, CCR Hungary and Mike completing the top 10. And outside of that you have Mink, Line Cookie, Fadesy, Dylan, Ghost and Pam Polly. But he has closed the advantage, and he is going to get DRS on this lap, so he has been pushing. Red light is flashing, and as that rear wing opens now, he's going to be 9/10, almost a second behind, and I don't think this is going to be enough. He has 0 battery remaining, so nothing to show in on this final lap for KP, and that looks like it is going to give the win to Koru, unless he makes a massive mistake in the final couple of corners. There's no real overtaking spots, and around the long right-hander now. This is the final lap, so this does mean after these final 2 corners that Koru is going to take pole position for the Austin Grand Prix. And around the final corner now, Koru has drove brilliantly in these 10 laps, and he is going to take home pole position for the Austin Grand Prix. KP with P2. T. Crombie is going to finish it in P3 on track, but that's going to give TF Ferenc P3 on the grid. Keanu is now going to take home P5 because Pinkface has made an absolute mistake somewhere, and this might even drop him outside of the top 10 because there's a whole gaggle of cars crossing the line, and Pinkface is going to be starting P9 for this American Grand Prix because Reece Thomas bumps himself up to P6, Kiernan T in P7, CCR Hungary P8, Pinkface P9, Mike P10, and then you have Mink and a few of the back markers to complete the grid. But I wonder what happened there towards the end. Pinkface must have spun it or something like that. So just usual Ferrari things. So there we go, KP P2, so he has got 3 points, so he needs to outscore by 3 points in the main race for him to become world champion, I believe. Let me just find out. And then you have the rest of the grid. 4 DNFs, 2 for Alpine, 1 Aston Martin and 1 Williams driver who failed to complete 10 laps. So now we move on to the main event, which hopefully is starting relatively soon. We're already an hour into stream. So yeah, 3 points is all KP needs. So if he finishes second and with the fastest lap, and Keanu finishes third, he will take home the crown. And if he finishes first and Keanu finishes second, he wins. If he finishes second with the fastest lap and Keanu finishes third, he also wins. And if he finishes third with the fastest lap, Keanu finishes fourth, he wins. But if he is fourth and Keanu is fifth, he does not win. So he will just be aiming for the win or fastest lap in this one. Whether this race is going to start soon or not, fuck's sake. Ah, there we go. So here we go then. 25 seconds before the start of the main race. I still don't know how many laps we have. I think it's 29, maybe 31. Here we go then. 5 red lights. Koru on pole position. KP alongside. And it's lights out and away we go. And it seems to be a good start from KP on that inside line. T. Crombie, though, has got a better start than Ferenc. Is already up into P3. That's an AlphaTauri of CCR Hungary trying to get up the inside. Ferenc and T. Crombie are side by side, and that looks to be T. Crombie going wide there. Maybe stamping on the throttle too early. Rhys Thomas is now up into P4. From Keanu, T. Crombie fades up to P7. Kiernan down to P8. Pinkface has now made up a place on the AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo for 8th place. And towards the back of the field, there seems to be a spin for Goncalo Silva. But the greatest getaway he could have asked for Koru. We can see what kind of tyres there are. Most of them are mediums. Ferenc has chosen to go for the hard tyres. Rhys Thomas the softs again. Keanu has chosen to go hard, along with T. Crombie and Fadesy. And then you've got a few of the back markers also choosing the hard tyre. But Pinkface has now retired from the session. I don't know what's happened. He is in the wall on the right hand side, and that's going to be 0 points again for Ferrari and Pinkface. So master plan being put to work again. But Koru leads KP, he leads Ferenc, and then Rhys Thomas. Then come the 2 Mercedes with a pretty poor start by both Fadesy P8. And then you can see the rest of them. Mink is down to P19 on the hard tyre. So massive amount of time lost if you're on those hard tyres to start off with. But obviously they will wear into the race better than the soft tyres that will go off fairly quickly. But it's a Red Bull 1-2 again at the front of the field, and it's must be becoming routine for the both of them. But Rhys Thomas, TF Ferenc, Keanu, T. Crombie are your top 6 again. There we can see the predicted pit stop strategy, boxing around lap 13 to 17 for the hard tyre if you are on mediums. So it means you can do the opposite for hards, but I'm not working that out because my brain hurts. Anyway, Ghost is up into P12, and the Lion Cookie and F1 Lewis are having their own little scrap at the back. Ghost has had a terrible exit and is now being overtaken by the Lion Cookie, but does manage to get up the inside and get the place back. But the Lion Cookie is now going to fight it around the outside. They're going to go side by side. The Happy and Pampoli are getting very touchy into the first corner. We are on the wing of both of them, so shade camera angle. And again, we are broadcasting audio only, so I'll try to keep you as informed as possible. Pampoli up into P9, Fatey down to P10, and then you have Kiernan T in P11, Lion Cookie P12, and Ghost down to P13. At the sharp end, Rhys Thomas is about 3.8 seconds off that lead to the front runners. Kiernan is now side by side with the Lion Cookie, and it's dropped to P13 as Ghost 44 now gets up the inside, and gets up the inside of the Lion Cookie as well. It's all very glitchy, and Ghost 44 has managed to get past all of them, so he's up into P11, Kiernan down to P12, and then you have both the Williams in P13 and 14. But they have the DRS on the Haas in front, and the Nightmare Ghost is actually going to go up the inside of Kiernan into the hairpin after the DRS zone. So Nightmare Ghost has made up 8 places on this race start, and he is doing pretty well at the moment. But yeah, lots of overtaking on this race start. Mike has had a spin, unfortunately, and has dropped outside the top 10 down to P15. So unfortunate for AlphaTauri, as they're trying to keep that P3 in the constructors from Ferrari, the only Ferrari in the top 10 at the moment. is Pampoli in P8, but obviously he's in a Ferrari, he should be at the front anyway. It's just a skill issue he has. But yeah, this mid-fight pack of cars seems to be very interesting. But you have Reese Thomas, who is leading TF Ference and Keanu, and then T Crombie is following behind at the back of that train. And as we enter another lap of DRS, we can see where TF Ference and Keanu and T Crombie are trying to get past each other. It looks like it might be a bit too far back on this lap, but Keanu is maybe going for a move up the inside of the Aston. No, chooses better of it. He has more ERS at this point. TF Ference only has 10%. Reese Thomas on 32, I believe. Keanu looks like he's on about 20 something, 32, and then T Crombie on about 38. So ERS has been used quite heavily in these opening couple of laps. So let's see how that goes. But what's happened at the front? Koru has lost it. Koru has had a spin. KP inherits the lead. The gap is around 6 seconds. Koru is going to be overtaken into turn 1 by the McLaren of Reese Thomas. Reese Thomas is going to try to get up the inside. Koru's actually lost his wing. Koru has lost his wing, and it's all gone down the drain for the Red Bull once again. He starts on pole position, makes a mistake, and loses the lead. He's going to be down to P4, and is now going to get overtaken by Keanu, and T Crombie are now past him. So in the space of half a lap, Koru has gone from leading this race, spinning, and dropping to P6, probably further as he has to box and will go towards the back of the field. But Keanu is now at a spin and reset to track. So that means Keanu just reset to track. That means KP is world champion and he doesn't even know it. KP is officially world champion. I'm 100% sure I saw a reset to track. Keanu has lost his wing. This race is absolute carnage at the moment. Keanu is now P13. Goncalo Silva has just had a crash with Kiernan on a straight. Them two are now out. We'll go on board with Mink to see what has happened here. If you look, they're just on a straight, parked up on the side. And we do have the safety car. Oh my lord, is this race just carnage? Jesus. Oh fuck's sake, is there no stream again? There is stream. We are now under safety car. So KP, we are under safety car. KP leads TF Ference, and then you have T Crombie, Pam Polly, Dylan, Fadesy, Nightmare Ghost, Mike, Reese Thomas, Ollie DeBoy, F1 Lewis. Koru's coming in for a wing. He's now in P12, and then you have the two Hasses in P13 and P14. The Line Cookie in P15. Keanu is now in P16. And then you have 4 DNFs of Kiernan, Goncalo Silva, CCR Hungary, and Pinkface. So that is your grid rundown. As I see, it's only broadcasting audio. I can't change that at the moment. Oh. I go to bed now. Man, why is stream not working? Alright, KP, Ference, T Crombie, Pam Polly, Dylan, Mike, Nightmare Ghost, Fadesy, Ollie DeBoy and Koru lead us away from the safety car. KP has a pretty good restart ahead of that Aston Martin, but T Crombie has put himself up into P3. Pam Polly is P4, Dylan down in P5. Keanu has made up 2 places on the start as Haas are sat at the back of the grid. I don't know why the stream isn't working. Sorry, I can't fix it. Don't know how. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, Pam Polly up 11 places. Nightmare Ghost has made 13 places. So he is P7 at the moment, but he's under massive pressure from Reese Thomas as they go down the straight now. Can he get this move done into the hairpin? He's going to have to go all the way around the outside of that Williams, and he does get pushed off track by Nightmare Ghost and almost pushed into his teammate. I can't tell who's who. Reese Thomas is now fighting Nightmare Ghost. He's still trying to brave it down the outside. Fadesy is now up at the inside. They're 3 wide. One of them gets pushed off the track. Nightmare Ghost has a snap on exit. Has now lost the place to Koru. Koru up into P9. This race is as fast paced as you're hearing it. Keanu is now up into P12 and has now got F1 Lewis in front of him. Reese Thomas has unfortunately had a spin for him, so he is down to P13, getting overtaken by Mink into the penultimate corner. Ghost is going to get him on exit as well. Ghost has those harder tyres on now. We can check how many stops. So he has made a stop and has been on those hard tyres for 3 laps. So they should get him to the end of the race. Mike has had to go in for a new nose. He is now at the back of the grid. KP has a 1.5 second advantage to the Aston Martin, but T Crombie is piling on the pressure to TF Ference, So he's going to be looking to get that P2 back, even though he has got that penalty at the moment. To be fair, Koru is actually in a pretty good spot at the moment. He has made his pit stop on the hard tyres, and there's a crash behind, and F1 Lewis has lost his wing. I have no idea what happened there. I think it's something to do with Ollie De Boy. Reese Thomas is just a bystander to that. F1 Lewis has now lost his wing, and he will have to come in at the end of this lap. Keanu is losing a place to Nightmare Ghost on a straight. Nightmare Ghost actually has lost a part of his wing, pushes Keanu wide. Keanu, ooh, they're going side by side now. Nightmare Ghost has the upper hand, but around now with the left-hander, Keanu has that inside line and does get the place back, so he holds his P8. Yeah, this race is absolute carnage. Ollie De Boy is now watching the Nightmare Ghost versus Reese Thomas. They are barging each other out the way. Reese Thomas is going to hold that place ahead of Nightmare Ghost, but into the first corner now. Nightmare Ghost is that much quicker. They're going to go side by side. Reese Thomas has that inside line, and with a good exit does keep the place ahead of Nightmare Ghost. So well done from him. T Crombie is now putting on the pressure to TF Ferrance. So we'll be looking to get past him in a few laps. And does get past into that first braking zone. So the Mercedes now puts himself up into P2. Both haven't made a pit stop yet. So, yeah. They are going to be under threat from Koru, to be fair. Because even though Koru had to drop to the back of the field, he is now in P6 and he's about 5 seconds back, but he has indeed made his pit stop. So that's the upper hand that he does have on these guys. Dylan, to be fair to him, is up to P5. So I think he'll be overtaken by Koru soon, but that's a good place to be in from the car that he's driving. So congratulations to him. Mink is now putting on the pressure to Ollie De Boy, and there might be a move being made into this first corner. As we look at it, Mink is going to go down the inside of Ollie De Boy. Can he get that move finished off? And that's a pretty routine dive bomb. But to be fair, Ollie De Boy is going to fight this one back, and even though we have no camera angle, no, he does have to yield the place. So Mink to P10, Ollie De Boy to P11. Mink up to P10. As we said, Koru now gets up the inside of Dylan in that braking zone. Nightmare Ghost has actually retired from the session, and the safety car is out. Oh, Jesus Christ. So another safety car has been put out. Which means KP needs to get into that pit lane as fast as possible. I choose, even though he's on those hard tyres. At the moment, Corey has the fast lap. So I'm gonna go get something to eat, and I'll be back when this race restarts, hopefully. I am back. T. Crombie is taking over the lead of this Grand Prix, but it is the only man yet to box, so I think would have been better to box. Koru is now up into P2, Keanu P3. So Keanu was actually got ahead of his rival, so this is good for his... sorry. Actually not good for his championship, he reset the track. But if he didn't reset the track, then this is a good place for his championship. Reese Thomas actually found himself up in P4, so decent from him. KP P5. TF Ference is P6. Ghost 44 P7. Pampoli P8. And the rest follows accordingly. Yeah. Safety car should be in this lap. And is staying for another lap. So another lap under safety car for the 15 drivers that remain. And so far Haas are looking good in their home race. P7 for Ghost, P10 for Mink,